Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Happy Empowerment Series. I am so excited to have with us today the fabulous Mauricio Bernal, who is also an excellent ink talent, I want to say. But the reason we signed him is he is not only a very talented singer, he has a beautiful velvet voice. Just wait till you hear it a little bit later. But he's also a producer. He's also a songwriter. He's multi-talented, and I get to share him with Sway Music as well. And Mauricio, I'm so excited to have you today on the Happy Empowerment Series. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. How are you? I'm very happy to be here.
You know what? I'm doing really great. Mi amigo de Colombia. I know that eres de Barranquilla. So tell me
Yeah.
a little bit about your trajectory of coming from Colombia to the United States, and how did you feel, about when you uprooted to follow a dream?
Well, I initially came here to the States to go to college when I
Mm.
was 18. No, 19. I just turned 19 actually.
Uh-huh.
And I always knew that I wanted to come here to the States. I was, was curious. I always heard amazing things. I've been here to actually Miami when I was younger. And I was always like, yeah, I want to go to there to college. I want to go. And then I came here. I started, just meeting people. It was a great first impression. And I've been here 7 years, and I don't want to leave. I love my country and everything, but I love living here.
That is wonderful. Well, and I will tell you this, I was lucky to have met you through Isabella, who I know you met at Trinity University as well when
Hmm.
you all were there studying. And I will also say to everyone that's out there, he's working on his master's degree as well. So not only are you, talented artistically, but you're getting your MBA as well, which is wonderful, which also says you're both right and left brained. How do you make
I
it all
won't say
happen?
anything. uh, that is a very good question. I wish I could answer. I'm trying to, which is the important thing. Uh, and so far succeeding. So yeah, that's as much as I know. But yeah, no, it's work. It's a lot of work. But I feel like when you have a passion for something, you'll always have the time, and you won't feel like you will feel tired, but you'll just keep going because it's what you want to do, and you eventually always have to find that space to let yourself be creative,
Right.
to let yourself like air out feelings, thoughts. So yeah, I feel like it's. I have no idea how I'm doing it, but I'm figuring it out, and that's. I feel like it's a good thing.
Well, and I will tell you this, Mauricio, and I can speak to it personally. You are one of the kindest, and I will say a true gentleman for everyone that's out there. And it's so nice to meet a
Thank you.
wonderful gentleman who is so kind. And it's so funny. I signed you without us even meeting in person and
Mm.
all this other stuff, which is great, which is what COVID did for a lot of us. Then we finally met. I was like, oh, yay. He's everything I thought he was as well. But it was because your energy was fantastic. And when
Well,
we,
I'm glad. I'm glad.
you lived up to the expectations. But the good news is the contract had already been signed ahead of time. But with that being stated, Mauricio, when you and I chatted, we talked about how, as individuals that are artists, but also both right and left brain, we talked a lot about finding balance. So I'm curious to everyone that's out there that's trying to make their career happen or just quite frankly get themselves going. You said something earlier that was so profound about when you're passionate about something, you're just going to find the time. You're going to make the time to make it happen. But what do you do? Anything? Do you meditate? Do you go on runs? Like, what is your way to, if you will, rebalance yourself when a lot of us have a lot going on all the time?
Well, I mean, of course, there's stress,
Right.
there's frustration when you're doing multiple things. And yeah, I do meditate daily. I try to, do exercise every day, run and everything, just to relieve yourself of that stress, to train both your body and your mind. And that really helps me know where I am
Uh-huh.
mentally, not physically, mentally, know where I am, and kind of like take that deep breath and just take off all those thoughts, all those, feelings of stress off of yourself,
Right.
so that you're able to, be more focused. That I know it sounds everybody that meditates says that, and it's very vague, but when you experience it, there's this easiness to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's helped me a lot. Um, but of course, you're bound to feel frustrations. You're bound to feel stress,
Right.
and it's normal. Um, Especially with the music industry,
Yeah.
with music, with entertainment in general.
Yeah.
It requires a lot of patience, a lot of perseverance, and it's taught me as well to
Mhm.
be more patient, to be more perseverant, and to find ways for myself in which to handle that stress or that frustration or that difficult moment, so that you're able to give yourself some tools that not
Mhm.
only help you emotionally and mentally, but also help you professionally in that aspect. So
Right.
I feel like those two things have done greatly, um, have done great things for me. And also, music in itself is kind of cathartic. So I feel
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
that combined with just being creative is a way to let emotions out.
No,
So
definitely. And on that note, I'm curious, we'll go into a little bit later about your new song, which I do want to touch upon. But
yeah,
I'm curious for you, I mean, you've been writing music for a very long time. And I want to tell people, I mean, he's young, but he's been doing this for 5 years. And it's a craft you're consistently, one thing that I love about working with you, you're always working on the next thing. You're always finding that next beat. You and Andre, I swear,
yeah, I
I get
know.
enthralled with our conversations. I'm like, oh yeah, there's something new for us to look at. But
Yeah,
you know, where do you go, do you draw your inspiration from? I'm just curious.
it's actually a very good question. There's not like one way from where I get like ideas. It might just be a song that I listen to that kind of like, turns on a light bulb,
Uh-huh.
and not, or maybe someone I talk to, a conversation I have, a story I hear.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm just like playing guitar and I find like this chord progression that sounds very nice, and that just sparks it up. It's usually the moment that that light bulb turns on is usually very, very in the moment.
Right.
It's not like, oh, I've been feeling this for a long time, and I've been wanting to talk about it. That is rarely the moments like that. That happens for me, at least, far less
Uh-huh.
than the moments you find. Call it inspiration, call it that creativeness. It is rarely, yeah, been. It's rarely thought of. It's mostly
Right.
momentaneous and spontaneous. And it happens sometimes that that light bulb turns on, and it just you connect that moment of creativity
Uh-huh.
with what you wanted to say before. So like I've been
Mm.
feeling this for a while. I've been wanting to tell the story, but you haven't found a way to tell it, and you're just messing around in the guitar, or you're just talking to somebody, and then they say a phrase that might light up that part of your brain that goes creative, that emotion, and you're able to connect the dots between what you wanted to say and being able to say it. So it's very weird. I don't know how to explain. It's very weird. It's not.
No, it's not weird to me because I think it's your light bulb moment, right? I think
Yeah, yeah. It's
it's that
very
aha
weird.
moment you have that you're
It's
like,
very
what,
weird.
this is it.
Yeah.
But I think that's why I think for many of us that are very creative, we're always looking for inspiration. And to your point, it could be a conversation with someone, and that just sparks everything else. And what's interesting is just that's why I think communicating is so important for us
Yeah.
that are artistic, because it's important to be able to get it out of us just as much as it is to be inspired by it.
Exactly. Yeah. And songwriting, it's mostly about communication.
Right.
I actually saw this a few days ago. There's this video of Tom Hiddleston, the
Uh-huh.
actor.
Yeah.
Uh, he says that he says that he's like super like into like the language, English
Right.
language, I think French and a couple others. And he says that he finds it so interesting. It's because it's our way of saying what we feel. Like there's nothing more
Mm,
complex than a human and your
right.
feelings and how what goes on inside you. And finding the right words to be able to express that is such an impossible task that it's why he says in the interview like he wants to learn more about it.
Right.
And with songwriting, when I saw that video, when I saw him say that and heard him say that, I felt very related because there are moments when you just want to say something about something that happened to you or something to somebody else, and there's a word but you just can't remember it, or there's a feeling but you just don't know how to say it, how to express it.
Right.
And I feel like it encaptures what he's saying very like it's perfect. Like what he says is perfect in that sense,
Right.
because it's such an impossible task to put a feeling into a word and be
Mm-hmm.
able to have it have the same intensity as the feeling that you have.
Right.
So yeah, it's something that's when, that's when you find a good songwriter is somebody that is able to provide or give that intensity to the song itself,
Right.
that makes you feel the actual, apart from the performance or whatever, but that makes you feel that emotion in that moment as much
Right.
as they have.
No,
It's
definitely. But that's also one thing that I think that I love about your songwriting is that you do that very,
Thank
very
you. I
well.
hope I'm glad I hope I do that people feel that, and that yeah, because it's something that is for me that's the goal. Like
Right.
not only to tell my story. Yeah, sometimes it's most of the times I say I'm a selfish writer because I write about myself. Like I
Right.
write about my story, about like what I'm feeling. Might not
Right.
be my like something that happened to me, but I'm the one telling it, and it
Right.
becomes my story.
Yeah.
Um, but it's also like I've learned through the times is what you make people feel. But I feel like
Right.
if it's very backwards, if you make it for yourself, if you make it for like what you're feeling or what you want to say, that it in itself will make it more pure for other people to be able to connect with it.
Right.
So it's very backwards. It goes against what it's about. So yeah, it very much confuses me in that sense, but that's the beauty of it, I guess.
Well, I think that there's always beauty in chaos and there's beauty in confusion.
Mm,
And I think that also what songwriters or for us that are artists, what we understand is that guess what? You don't have to be perfect. And I think that that is one of the biggest misconceptions of why a lot of people maybe are afraid of the arts or of being artistic or showing their creativity. Because
yeah.
when we put ourselves out there, for you, it's songwriting. For me, it's aesthetics. I like to, most people might have stopped with one necklace. I'm
Hmm.
like, you know what? I like five today, I'm feeling five. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through a
Well, it
necklace.
looks good. So,
Thank you. But it's telling a story, right? But then I
hmm.
think that that's the biggest respect that I have so much for artists is that when we put something out there, we know we're putting all of ourselves into it. And because of that, there's always going to be an opinion. And
Hmm.
I think that the hardest part about being an artist is being so true to you that you have to live your passion and not allow the opinions to get in the way of that. And then
Yeah.
even like myself as your agent, I have to make sure I couch that, but it's still your essence. I'm not going to
Mm.
change you. It's about cultivating that. So I have a question for you because I know you face that all the time, especially when a song is out. How do you handle critiques? How do you handle that? Because I think that that's something that's really important for people that are not in the industry, or right now with the way social media is. How do you do
Yeah,
it?
exactly. Yeah, no. See, criticism is also it's very weird in the
Right,
sense that you need it, but at the same time, you have to be careful with it.
right,
So what I do is like me personally, like I learned very young, like, okay, this is the people that I trust with my art,
right,
my creation, with like this song that I want to send it to them to see what they really think. Um, but at the same time, you can't do that with everybody because too
right,
many opinions, go against the of that song, because like you might write a song and I have 20 people comment completely different things, and you start thinking, oh, okay, am I really doing this right,
Right.
and it sometimes might disrupt the whole process. So it's not about like saying don't share your stuff, um, don't be open to hearing criticism. Is mostly about knowing who to hear, people
Hmm.
that know who you are, that know what your essence is in a way,
Right.
and that will tell you that will tell you when something might not be to their liking.
Right.
That's the people that I would always say hear the most. The people who are not afraid to tell you, "Hey, I really don't like this part," or "I'm not convinced because maybe this doesn't go your way," or "I don't think this is really you," or some. Those are the people that you should actually hear to,
Right.
and be careful with the amount of people that you hear to, because you can't hear the whole world. You
Right.
can't hear the whole world's opinion about you. That's why social media. I said that's a very it's very it's its own thing in itself.
Right.
Um, so yeah, like even though you like, I do this, even though you might not want to see what people say or whatever, like you do look sometimes every now and then.
Right.
And yeah, you have to just be careful. Just know who to hear and know what people you might want to take with a grain of salt. Not
Right.
because they're not reliable, but because they might not know you as well and know what your project or your essence is about, what your art
Mhm.
is about, and that is something that you have to
Well,
protect in
you
a
know
way.
what's interesting? They go, when you go to court, let's just say that there was a crime that was committed. Do you know that eyewitness accounts are hardly validated as much as possible, because they could ask 10 people who all saw the exact same crime. They're going to get 10 different opinions as to what happened, because they're
Hmm.
all coming from their perception. They're not coming
Yeah,
from the perception of what
yeah,
possibly happened. So I think it goes in line with what you're saying, which is hold on to those that you know are going to be in alignment with what you're looking at and your goals. And everyone else, it's okay. You can listen, you can nod your head, and you can appreciate it, but you have to allow it to just roll off the back. And because if not, you're going to be stuck
yeah. I
and
know,
you're going to be paralyzed by it.
and it's normal to struggle with that. It's normal
Yeah.
to. It takes time to learn that part of the process, I feel. Because I definitely I heard criticism way too much before. I've heard it before way too much. I've been stuck with because of it, and I've struggled with that part. And because of that, I feel like I can say, yeah, this is maybe what I don't recommend doing, or this is what I recommend doing.
Right.
Maybe, yeah, just listening to the people you trust, or maybe that trust with the fact that you trust, know what you want to do or what you want to say, what your voice is about. And
Right.
so, um, yeah, no, completely, yeah.
No, I think that that's wonderful. So, Mauricio, I'm so excited because today your song drops. So, tell us a little bit about your latest song.
So today, April 30th, my song Anillo de Saturno has become available on every streaming platform. It's a song I produced, the second song I put out that I produced. I wrote it and mixed and mastered by my friend Remers. He's
Oh,
from Puerto Rico. Um, and it's a song, it's very much, I feel like a puzzle that I've been putting together over
mhm.
little things that I've been learning along the way, since I started producing, and since I started doing some urban songs. My last song, Fotografia, if you hear it, sorry, it's very much more in the urban side.
Mhm.
And it's something I definitely wanted to explore. It has this chill vibe. It's very laid back. And with Anillos, I wanted to combine a little bit of that essence, but with that acoustic part
Uh-huh.
of my artistry. I feel like that I hold very dear to me.
Right.
I've always considered myself a pop artist, but an acoustic pop artist, because
Mm.
that's what I feel is very like touches me. That goes deeper within me, and that's how what I feel is the nature of my essence. And so to be able
Yeah.
to combine all these things that I've been kind of learning to do, or just um, kind of dipping my toe in the water with that which is my nature, it was not easy to be able to navigate, but I think I'm very happy with what came out and with what we did, and yeah, hope everybody hears it. And I really want to hear everybody and see everybody hearing the song, sharing it with their friends, and yeah,
Well,
just
I'm
hearing it because that's
excited
what it's
about it.
about.
So, and on that note, is there a guitar around you by any chance?
Actually, yeah, right
So, would you like to do
there.
anything for us?
Sure. What would you like to hear?
Why don't you give us a little taste of your new song? I know that we're going to be ending with it. It's because Andrea and passed me along some of the music, so everyone you're going to get to hear it first when we're closing out the show. But why don't you sing us a little bit? What do you think about
Sure,
that?
sure.
So I'm so excited that you are now going to give us a little teaser of your song that everyone please download it today. So without further ado, Mauricio, show us your fabulous new song.
Yeah, this is Anillo de Saturno, and everybody go check it out. I hope you guys like it. Yo te he escrito mil canciones para ver si vuelve. Y le he cantado a las estrellas, por si te esconden una de ellas. Y me he enfrentado a mis temores desde que te fuiste. Y ha sido una aventura emocional que sí galáctica interés. Y si se me da la oportunidad de volverte a encontrar, así me toque viajar hasta el final del sistema solar. Y yo te he buscado por los anillos de Saturno, a ver si encuentro un beso tuyo donde lo guardé. Y ahora paso todo el día pensándote y no te encontraba. Ni por la luna de Neptuno, me tienes por todos lados buscándote. Y en la noche soñándote. Quiero que la vayan a escuchar ahora porque esa parte es la que más me gusta y quiero que la escuchen ustedes. Así que ya saben, Anillos de Saturno, está en todas las plataformas.
Perfecto. So again, everyone, be sure to download that fabulous song today. I know that I'm going to be playing it all weekend long. And and tonight when I'm having my cocktails, I'll be like, aquí ando otra. Here's another toast to you, Mo. But I will tell you this, friend. You are such a kind and a beautiful human being that I think before we close out the show, I'd love for people to hear from you. If there was one piece of empowerment advice that you would give somebody, what would that be?
I would say it would be just don't afraid to be yourself. Like don't afraid to just just connect with that. Connect with who you are. Trust your process, trust what you want to say.
Yeah.
And don't listen to the people that you know or that you learn you don't need to hear from. And just trust in yourself, trust that everything will be okay, and find that peace in your life.
No, definitely. So what I learned from our conversation today, to summarize it for everyone, is we learned what Mauricio just say right now is trust your gut, trust your intuition, follow your path. It's your path at the end of the day.
Exactly.
And if somebody tells you it's impossible to be, somebody gets a master's, is also a producer, is also a songwriter, and also you have so much creativity inside, he's your example. It can happen. And I am so proud as a fellow Latina to say, gracias, estoy tan orgullosa de ti. You're going to accomplish so many more things. But like I tell everybody, we're only as empowered as we all empower each other. So everyone, please join me today in downloading his fabulous latest song. And while you're there, go look at all the other ones because they're fantastic. He mentioned Fotografía. It's been our intro song for a while on the Happy Empowerment series, which we're so excited to Mauricio to do. And but there's so many other great songs that are out there. So again, thank you for your time. I'm proud of you. Keep it going. And and I appreciate all the coffee and everything you keep doing so you get bed. All right, without further ado, everyone, thank you for joining us again for the Happy Empowerment series. Please know that please subscribe down below, and also we're going to put a link to his page because I know you're going to want to make sure that you're following him to keep up with all the adventures of what Mauricio is doing, because you never know, there could be a song written and you might be the inspiration that he had from a conversation that I've had with you in the future. All right, everyone, have a fabulous day, everyone. Bye.
así me toque viajar.